Welcome to the Wha-khem universe, where fan theories come to life, hidden details get uncovered, and your favorite worlds get even more exciting. Let's dive in. When we look at the Pokémon universe, it's not uncommon to see creatures inspired by a wide range of influences, from nature to mythology and popular culture. But when it comes to Jynx, one of the ice psychic type Pokémon from Generation Y, its design has been the subject of controversy for years. Initially introduced in 1996, Jynx's appearance sparked a lot of discussion, especially for its human-like features, exaggerated lips, and dark skin. Over time, these aspects led some to draw unfortunate comparisons to racial caricatures, including blackface. This led to significant changes in the character's design and some censorship in later years. But was Jynx's design really intended to be racist? Or could there be other, more innocent influences at play? Let's break down the various theories surrounding Jynx's origins and how they have evolved over the years. Jynx's initial appearance in the games and anime immediately grabbed attention. The character's design, with its dark skin and human-like features, led to some criticism. Specifically, it was compared to blackface, a deeply offensive and harmful stereotype historically used in the entertainment industry to demean and dehumanize African Americans. This led to widespread concern, and as a result, Game Freak made changes to Jynx's design in localized versions of the games, changing its skin color from black to purple. This change was later mirrored in the Japanese versions, and episodes of the anime featuring the original design were either censored or completely removed. While the changes were made, there has always been a lingering question: was Jynx truly designed with racist intent? Many fans and critics, especially today, would argue that Jynx was not intended to embody racist stereotypes, though the design's initial reception can't be ignored. Over time, the fandom has evolved, and many now believe that Jynx's design may have been influenced by cultural trends that were prevalent in Japan in the late 80s and early 90s, particularly the Ganguro fashion trend. Ganguro, or blackface, was a fashion style that emerged in Japan during the 1990s. It was a reaction against the rigid expectations of Japanese society, and many young women embraced the style as a form of rebellion. Ganguro fashion often included platform boots, mini skirts, bleached blonde hair, and most notably, exaggerated tans achieved through makeup. The style is often considered a form of self-expression, with some claiming it was an attempt to emulate elements of African American culture, specifically American hip-hop. However, this connection is still up for debate. What we do know is that Ganguro girls often took a radical approach to fashion, with the goal of standing out and rejecting societal norms, much like how the punk subculture sought to disrupt the status quo. For some, it's easy to see how Jynx's design might have been influenced by this Ganguro trend, especially since Ganguro girls often wore bold, exaggerated makeup to stand out. Jynx's design could have been a visual nod to this trend, with the large lips, dark skin, and the overall exaggerated femininity of the character drawing a parallel to the Ganguro aesthetic. While it's unlikely that Ganguro was a major intentional influence on Jynx's design, it's a possibility worth considering when examining how the character's appearance fits into the cultural context of the time. But Jynx's design might not be solely attributed to modern fashion trends. There's a deeper layer to Jynx's origins, one rooted in folklore. One of the most compelling theories is that Jynx's design could have been inspired by the yama-uba, a figure from Japanese folklore. The yama-uba, also known as the mountain crone, is an old woman who lives in the mountains and is often depicted with wild, white blonde hair, a large mouth, and a red kimono. Much like Jynx, the yama-uba has an almost enchanting and mysterious aura, drawing in unsuspecting travelers with her magical abilities. In some versions of the story, the yama-uba is also depicted as a yuki-onna, a woman with two mouths, one on her face and the other at the back of her head, yet another parallel to Jynx's notable features. Additionally, there is a variant of the yama-uba myth called yama-uba, which is a more recent iteration of the folklore that also connects to the Ganguro fashion, but this association likely comes from a more contemporary perspective rather than being a direct influence on Jynx's original design. Regardless, it's clear that the yama-uba and yama-uba legends share notable visual similarities with Jynx, suggesting that Japanese mythology may have played a significant role in the creation of this Pokémon. Furthermore, there is a possibility that Jynx's ice-type powers were inspired by another piece of folklore, the yuki-onna, or Snow Woman. The yuki-onna is a figure in Japanese legends who is known for her ability to freeze people with a kiss. This is a fascinating connection as Jynx's signature move, Lovely Kiss, is quite similar in concept, with the character using her kiss to incapacitate her foes. While the yuki-onna and yama-uba myths are distinct from one another, they share certain overlapping qualities, especially when it comes to Jynx's mysterious and enchanting nature. It's also important to consider other cultural influences that might have shaped Jynx's design. One such influence could be the figure of Zwarte Piet, a character from Dutch folklore who traditionally accompanies Santa Claus. Zwarte Piet is depicted as a dark-skinned helper, much like how Jynx appeared as an assistant at the North Pole in the Pokémon anime special holiday High Jynx. While it's unclear whether Zwarte Piet directly influenced Jynx's original design, the character's association with Santa Claus and his helpers provides an interesting context, particularly in the anime's portrayal of Jynx's role. So what can we conclude about Jynx's design? There's a strong case to be made that it was influenced by a variety of cultural and folkloric elements, rather than being a deliberate attempt to create a racist character. From the rebellious Ganguro fashion trend to the yama-uba and yuki-onna figures in Japanese folklore, it seems that Jynx's design was likely the result of a blend of inspirations that may not have been intended to carry racial connotations. Of course, the way Jynx was initially received cannot be ignored, and the changes made to her design in later years show that sensitivity to cultural issues played a role in the Pokémon franchise's response. In the end, Jynx's controversial history is a reminder of how important it is to be mindful of how certain designs, names, and symbols can be interpreted across cultures. While it's impossible to know for certain what the original intention behind Jynx's creation was, we can hope that its design was meant to draw upon a mix of cultural influences rather than perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Regardless of how Jynx's design came to be, it's clear that the character has had a lasting impact on the Pokémon franchise and remains an iconic part of its history. Thanks for tuning in to the Wha-khem universe. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, peace.